Tonight, $90 billion wipeout. Our market in free fall as the price of oil surges past $100 a barrel. Iran names its new supreme leader as the skies turn black over Tehran. Former Pittwater MP Rory Amon found not guilty of most child sex charges, but he's not in the clear. Shock deluge on the North Shore, streets swamped and water supply cut to 20,000 homes. The gateway to the Western Sydney Airport about to open and toll-free, slashing commutes from Luddenham to Cecil Hills. And Zach Lomax's parting shot at the NRL as he signs with Rugby Union.
This is 9 News with Peter Overton.
Good evening. The financial shockwaves from the war in the Middle East have shaken Australia today as our share market slumped. More than $90 billion was wiped out as oil prices surged amid fears of a prolonged conflict. And that will mean more than just pain at the Bowser, as higher fuel costs ripple through the economy, affecting everything from food to flights. Our political editor, Charles Croucher, begins our coverage.
Motorists buying up, traders selling off. This is week 2 of the war in Iran. Tonight, the price of oil soaring to close to $116 a barrel. Prices only seen twice before this century. It's caused a mass sell-off on the stock market, $91 billion gone today, impacting superannuation accounts across the country. Prices rising at the Bowser and soon the checkout.
Just about everything we do in terms of supplies, groceries, it's the vast majority of it is delivered by diesel-powered semi-trailers.
Panic at the pumps tonight, part of the problem.
We now have reports of service stations running low or running out, and that is a domestic problem that we've created for ourselves.
The longer this conflict goes on, the more potential it has to affect fuel prices.
But on Truth Social, President Trump claiming short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently.
Is it a price worth paying?
Well, probably, I guess so, as long as it doesn't go too high and they're fair about it.
No, not necessarily at all. I think we've got to focus on Australia.
Cost of living is pretty hard at the moment, but I guess we don't want World War III to break out either.
And this has been a serious wake-up call to the dangers of not having sufficient liquid fuels in the country.
Speaking to the industry this morning, have confirmed that every single expected delivery of petrol, diesel and jet fuel has arrived on time, on schedule, as expected.
More discussions will be held to ensure those deliveries make it to farms currently reporting disruptions.
We don't have to worry about panic buying. There is no fuel for the retailers to get from the wholesalers of the petrol.
We've got 2 refineries that are open. We've got fuel supplies here in Australia, not sitting over in Texas as they were under the previous government.
Australia has 30 days emergency reserve of petrol, diesel and jet fuel. That's yet to be tapped into as the world watches and waits to see what happens next in the Middle East.
While there are challenges in international supply chain, there's absolutely no reason for panic anything.
This is going to last for quite a while, so panic buying this week isn't going to solve the problem because you're still going to have the problem the next week and the next week.
Charles Croucher, 9 News.
The rocketing oil price had a swift and brutal impact on our share market today. Nine's finance editor Chris Kohler breaks down the impact of the worst plunge in almost a year.
The market dropped like a stone the second trade began. Almost $100 billion lost in a matter of minutes. And those losses were piled on top of last week's. The Australian index now down over $200 billion since last Monday's closed. Regular investors are caught in the global chaos as markets try to figure out how bad this war will be for the world economy.
The markets are pricing in now a very significant energy shock, which may raise inflation across the world while simultaneously lowering economic activity. So that's a really nasty mix for investors and the reason why we've seen such a significant plunge in the ASX 200.
That's stagflation, a nightmare recipe of rising costs and slow growth. Until the outbreak of war, things were going well. The ASX was at a record high and oil had been trending lower for several years. While traders still had hope of a short, sharp war last week, the sight of Iranian oil refineries ablaze with ships still stranded is what flipped the switch to panic today. Of course, we're only a week out from another Reserve Bank meeting. Inflation is already too high, with a likely oil shock coming. Markets and households are now holding their breath to see how Michelle Bullock reacts.
Chris, thank you. Let's go straight to Nine's Mark Burrows at the BP on Botany Road at Mascot. Mark, petrol prices are clearly front and centre for motorists.
Absolutely, Pete. Suddenly, Iran is not so far away. This service station, the BP on Botany Road, is the most popular service station right now in Sydney, all because it's selling 91 unleaded for just $1.94.9 a litre. It's the cheapest fuel you can get in Sydney right now. But elsewhere around Sydney, motorists are paying up to $2.20 a litre. This means it's another 30 cents a litre in just the last week or so, and that means about another $18 to $25 a tank. It's a lot of money. Diesel is in the same position. The NRMA is warning that prices could go even higher, and the service station owner says he expects to run out of fuel this evening. Peter.
Mark, thank you. For the first time since the 1979 revolution, the rule of Iran has passed from father to son. The country's Assembly of Experts declaring Mojtaba Khamenei the new supreme leader. A new era dawning while Tehran burned.
9 days after the death of Ayatollah Khamenei comes the ascension of Ayatollah Khamenei.
Mojtaba Khamenei.
His son, Mojtaba, proclaimed Iran's new supreme leader. State television broadcasting celebrations in the streets.
Mojtaba Hosseini Khamenei.
The country's tightly controlled media pushing a compelling narrative, but this is a divided nation. In the minutes after the announcement, chants including "Death to Mojtaba" echoed through Tehran. Those who do support the regime are hailing the 56-year-old as the most deserving choice, citing his similarity to his father. He's only the third supreme leader in nearly 50 years of revolutionary rule, the second-born son of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in a US-Israeli airstrike in one of the opening blows of the war. Selected by Iran's Assembly of Experts, an 88-member body of senior clerics, this is his first official position. President Donald Trump warning earlier anyone selected without his approval is not going to last long.
We allow nobody to interfere in our domestic affairs.
Iran's capital choked with smoke after Israeli strikes on its oil depots and refineries. Warnings of toxic substances in the air endangering lives on a massive scale.
It's also raining, but you can see that the rainwater is actually black, also saturated. It appears with oil.
Gulf states today contending with fresh strikes. An Iranian drone attack in Bahrain, leaving dozens wounded.
It is obvious that our missiles cannot reach the US soil. What we can do is to attack American bases and American installations around us, which are unfortunately in the soils of our neighborly countries.
A 7th US service member has died from their injuries. America undeterred.
What does that look like? Unconditional surrender?
We're fighting to win. It means we set the terms. We'll know when they're not capable of fighting. They will surrender.
No sign of that yet. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards claiming they're prepared to sustain at least a 6-month full-scale high-intensity war. Air raid sirens sounding across Israel as Iran renewed its attacks. Most missiles are intercepted, but several people are injured by falling shrapnel. While everyone wants to inspect the damage here, it just goes to show how dynamic the situation can be, and the threat will change in a matter of seconds. Lisa De Winter, one of 11 Australians fleeing the violence, catching a bus from Tel Aviv to Jordan to try to get home.
Well, I'm sad to leave in the middle of a war. It's an awful way to leave a country, especially Israel.
In Lebanon, 500,000 people have now been displaced, almost 400 killed. The IDF claims it's destroying Hezbollah terror targets in the country. The Lebanese health minister countering. they're targeting civilians and carrying out large-scale massacres. In Tel Aviv, Mimi Becker, 9 News.
The conflict is not just Israel and America against Iran, with the regime increasingly making enemies of its neighbours. Saudi Arabia is the latest to denounce Tehran's attacks, describing attacks on the Gulf as completely reprehensible. The foreign minister saying Iranians' aggressions will not be tolerated under any circumstances.
To say the new Supreme Leader is unpalatable to the US President is an understatement. Mojtaba Khamenei is an extension of his father's rule and not the regime change Donald Trump demanded. He serves as a rebuke to the United States and as a sign of the continuation of the hardliners within Iran. What happens now will be read by Iran's next actions. Will the new leadership step towards de-escalation, or does the Middle East move toward further chaos? With a demand of complete surrender or death by Donald Trump, there is no sign of a diplomatic off-ramp here. So the question of what's next is as open-ended as this war.
Lauren, thank you. The Iranian women's soccer team is tonight in a Gold Coast hotel guarded by police as the players prepare to leave the country. Protesters are demanding the federal government offer them protection, fearing their return to a brutal regime could be a matter of life and death.
And the full-time whistle goes.
The Asian Cup over for the Iranian women's football team. No protest on the field, just off it. A fight over the Iranian flag saw a woman detained by police. The demonstrations then spilled out of the Gold Coast Stadium. The Iranian team bus surrounded by supporters protesting a brutal regime. They fear the women will be punished when they return home. Save our girls, they chanted. From a bus window, they sent messages, including what some claim to be the universal hand signal for help.
We've seen videos of them showing their sign as for requesting help.
The team was labelled wartime traitors and threatened with punishment on Iranian state TV for failing to sing their national anthem.
We are deeply concerned that on return to Iran, they may get even executed.
Calls are growing louder for the federal government to offer protection, allowing them to stay in Australia until the war is over or offer them asylum.
What is unclear is what the players want, if anything. They've said to have been silenced by team officials, one squad member telling hotel guests they've been barred from talking to anyone.
What we can do is to show them that they have a choice to stay here if they want to.
For the moment, they remain holed up in the team hotel with former opponents now on their side.
Obviously, we feel for them and, yeah, we hope they're okay and safe.
They're known as the Lionesses. Their next move crucial. Do they stay and potentially put their families in Iran at risk, or do they roll the dice and go home? Damien Ryan, 9 News.
There's been a split decision in the child sex trial of former Pittwater MP Rory Amon, who was today cleared on 8 of 10 charges. With the jury deadlocked on the other 2, prosecutors must now decide whether to pursue the 36-year-old for a second time.
For 2 years, former politician Rory Amon fought to clear his name. But today, a partial victory. Acquitted of 8 charges of indecent and sexual assault of a child under the age of 14, but on 2 further counts, the jury couldn't decide. Do you think your name has been cleared? Amon was arrested in 2024 and immediately quit as the state Liberal MP for Pittwater. The allegations dating back to 2017. Amon was 27 years old, running for the Northern Beaches Council and using a fake profile on hookup apps. He began speaking to a 13-year-old boy over Snapchat before it was alleged they met twice in this underground bathroom. Is there anything you'd like to say after all of this? Throughout the trial, the former MP said the victim told him he was 17. The victim insisted he told him he was 15. After 3 days of deliberating, the jury delivered a hung verdict on 2 counts, not convinced that Amon was aware the child was underage. As for the other 8 counts relating to the second meeting, he was found not guilty. Mr. Amon, do you feel like you've won? Rory Amon gave his barrister a hug and breathed a sigh of relief after his decision was handed down here this afternoon. But that relief could be short-lived as he awaits a decision on whether there'll be a retrial. That decision expected in the coming days. Massilia Eiley, 9 News.
A 41-year-old man remains in police custody tonight, charged with the murder of his friend at a home in Concord in Sydney's inner west. Police say an argument broke out moments before the 37-year-old was allegedly stabbed in the chest yesterday afternoon. Accused Bondi terrorist Naveed Akram is seeking a court gag order. His lawyers asking a judge to stop media from reporting any details about his family over fears for their safety. If it's granted, the names, workplaces and addresses of Akram's mother, brother and sister would be prevented from publication. Akram didn't appear before court today and is yet to enter a plea. A ruptured water main sent a muddy torrent of water raging through streets in Cremorne today. It left 30 properties damaged, affected water supplies to 20,000 homes across the North Shore, and it's not the first time this pipe has burst.
That moment your street becomes a whitewater rapid.
Leo, ring the SES!
A torrent from a burst water main on Grasmere Road funneled down Bennelong Lane just before 9 this morning.
What surprised me was the speed of the water as well. Like, it wasn't slow water, like it could really trip someone up.
That didn't stop Leo and his family from fortifying their property using bricks from a collapsed wall.
There were some massive bits of brick, so it's insane how pressurised the water was.
Down the road or downstream.
Wow! Oh my God!
The turbo current put Anna's retaining wall to the test.
And the water was wild. It was just the river going down. The river was coming from the walls.
Within half an hour, Sydney Water turned off the main. 20,000 properties from Lindfield to Mossman subsequently without water or left with low pressure, higher than usual pressure elsewhere beneath Neutral Bay. This isn't the first time residents here have dealt with flooding. They say in 2018 the same water main burst. Back then they asked council to look at better levelling out this laneway, but were told the funds weren't available. Declan's car was written off during the last burst water main. Today he moved his pride and joy from his flooded garage among 30 properties impacted.
It's when it's a man-made problem, it's pretty annoying. I don't know if it's road construction or poorly constructed, but that whole bit was meant to have gotten fixed before so that this didn't happen today.
Sydney Water says the now twice failed main that's torn apart this road and bus shelter will be thoroughly investigated.
It is unusual. We don't know the cause of the break just yet, but right now we're focusing on response and repair.
Hayley Francis, 9 News.
All right, let's get our first check of the day's weather. Good evening, Belinda.
Hi, Pete. A grey and gloomy start to the working week. Onshore winds delivering a few showers throughout the day, but generally less than 3 millimetres. So far, Terry Hill's recording the highest rainfall with 6. And we could get some more this evening, especially near the coast. The Bureau expecting any showers to clear later tonight. Southerly winds bringing cooler temperatures today, about 2 to 3 degrees below the March average in our west, only making it to 24, and just a tad warmer in the city, climbing to 25. But soon it's going to feel like summer again. Parts of inland New South Wales hitting the mid-30s tomorrow. So when will Sydney siders be hitting the beach again? I'll be back with the forecast later in the bulletin, Pete.
Belinda, thank you. Coming up, breaking news from Bali. Australian gunman jailed over a deadly villa shooting. Also, a major development on the M6 tunnel. The details next. Children trapped as their car rolls off the road on the school run. History up in flames, a major railway station ablaze, the vape shop next door to blame. And pay per view, the popular tourist spot about to cost you. Two Australian men have been spared the death penalty in Bali for the gangland murder of a Melbourne father, while a third man, a Sydney plumber, accused of planning the attack, awaits his fate. Zivan Ranmatovic was killed by the pair at his luxury villa in a case of mistaken identity. The two men now spending a combined 32 years in jail.
Led from armoured vehicles to their fate in a Denpasar courtroom. 3 Australians who travelled to the island of the gods. 2 will stay for years inside Korobakan prison.
Disappointment, of course.
They had high hope for the judges to give higher.
8 months ago, Jasmine Gordias hid in the dark as her husband, Zvan Radmanovic, was murdered in the bathroom of their luxury villa. Flanked by their 13-year-old son, she watched as the men who carried out the ambush, Pasa Middlemore Tupou and Melvert Koskin, were each jailed for 16 years. Sydney plumber Darcy Jensen is still waiting on his verdict and possible sentence.
The victim's wife is speechless. Really felt like the Indonesian justice system don't really care.
Police allege Jensen organised the hit and Koskin and Tupou carried out the shooting. They claim the gunman broke into the villa with a sledgehammer. Ms Gordias told police she hid under the bed sheets after hearing gunfire and screams. Tupou has admitted to shooting Mr Radmanovic, but claims he thought he was his friend, Sanar Ghanim. Koskin testified he shot Mr Ghanim, who survived his injuries. Police claim the pair escaped on motorbikes before getting into a car with Jensen and dumping the guns in a river. The trio were arrested and charged after an international manhunt. The trial heard the gunmen were sent to Bali to threaten Mr Ghanim over a debt after being offered money by an Australian man they've refused to identify. They claim they never meant to kill anyone, while Jensen, a Sydney plumber, says he only learnt of the crime after he was arrested. Penelope Learsh, 9 News.
We have pictures and news just in. A police officer has been injured after crashing into a home on Holroyd Road in Marylands. It happened about an hour ago. Witnesses reported seeing the car driving at high speeds with lights and sirens before the crash. A school-run shock for a mother and 3 children after their car rolled down an embankment at Turramurra on the North Shore. One of the children was able to get free after the incident on Rothwell Road, while the others were trapped for more than 20 minutes. They are recovering in hospital, thankfully with only minor injuries. There could be light at the end of the crumbling M6 tunnel, with the government declaring it's found a safe solution to a major technical fault. The project to connect Sydney's south with the city was halted after a cave-in, and tonight a commercial stalemate continues.
2 gaping holes and 2 years of tools down. Hope of completing the M6 was sinking until tonight.
We've been working with the contractors on that. There is a technical solution, is my understanding.
The motorway runs from the M8 at Arncliffe underground to Cogra and was 90% tunnelled when the end crumbled in March 2024. The contractor CPB blamed complex faulting, which could not have been anticipated, but government engineers now say the project can be finished within the current contract. CPB is tonight silent, a commercial stalemate that could now head to court.
Ultimately, they're going to have to bear the costs of that.
The government needs to come clean on how this project will progress.
An M6 opening date is still up in the air, but in Western Sydney, workers have finished the first test drive on the new M12, running from Luddenham to Cecil Hills. It'll funnel cars to the airport at Badgerys Creek, lit by a new landmark. It's toll-free and opens midnight Saturday.
Saving commuters something like 16 minutes on their journey time.
The aim is to get trucks off this slow and windy stretch of Elizabeth Drive, lessening the load for locals. And the airport will only bring more freight. Aldi tonight approved to build $1 billion automated distribution centre next door with 500 permanent jobs.
We need that kind of investment in New South Wales.
Investment hopefully more simple to deliver. Liz Daniels, 9 News.
The main road linking Sydney to the state's west shut indefinitely. That story next in 9 News. An explosive hour across Western Sydney. 2 men gunned down in separate shootings at Bass Hill and Laylaw Park. Rescue mission at Balmain as a catamaran goes up in flames. The Andrews scandal now bringing down his daughter. Pop star Rihanna and her family caught up in a shooting scare.
And Formula One is garnering a new generation of fans, including those who take it to the ultimate level.
A boatie has been rescued from a burning catamaran near Snapper Island on Sydney Harbour. Flames erupted on the vessel off Balmain shortly after 10 p.m. The person on board the 12-metre vessel was taken to hospital with smoke inhalation. The boat was destroyed. There have been 2 shootings just an hour apart at Lalor Park and Bass Hill, with 2 people injured, 1 critically. Tonight, separate investigations are underway after a night of violence.
At Bass Hill, a volley of shots and several find their mark. A 25-year-old is hit several times, driven to hospital, not by paramedics but by his friend in a Mercedes-Benz. Tonight he's serious but stable. Minutes after the shooting and a green Holden Commodore slips down Rex Road at George's Hall, it's the getaway car set on fire at McLean Street.
A great big bang.
A second switch vehicle speeds off before police and fire crews arrive on scene.
It definitely was a targeted attack on an individual, and it was a brazen and violent attack.
An hour earlier at Lalor Park, shots fired from a home hitting a 29-year-old man on the street. 2 shootings inside 1 hour. The 46-year-old was arrested after tactical police stormed the Northcote Street home, but he was released. The home is no stranger to authorities. In January, a man was shot there. The property also linked to this. An alleged vigilante attack back in 2023 after attempts to set fire to the home. Tonight, no charges have been laid over these attacks. Police are still searching for several people. They are eager to stress that these shootings are separate but are both being treated as targeted incidents. Bailey Kenzie, 9 News.
The Great Western Highway has been closed in both directions after cracks were found in a bridge built in the 1830s. The damage to Mitchell's Causeway, also known as the Convict Bridge, shutting down the main road linking Sydney to the state's west. Traffic between Lithgow and Mount Victoria has been stopped until further notice, with repairs underway. Drivers can use the Darling Causeway and Chifley Road. A giant inferno has caused an historic building in Glasgow to crumble and partially collapse and force the closure of the Scottish city's rail station. Fire crews battled the monster flames for more than 8 hours as they destroyed the 170-year-old structure. The fire is believed to have started in a vape shop. No injuries have been reported. Shots have been fired at the Beverly Hills mansion of pop star Rihanna, with 1 bullet piercing a wall. A 30-year-old woman has been arrested, with the motive for the attack unclear. The singer, who was home at the time, lives there with her husband, rapper A$AP Rocky, and their 3 children. Newly released Jeffrey Epstein documents include photos of a man resembling the former Prince Andrew, with 1 young woman on his lap and another wrapping her arms around him. It comes as Princess Eugenie feels the fallout from her father's arrest, stepping down as a patron of Anti-Slavery International after 7 years. The barricades are coming down and the food vans are on their way to the next gig as Formula One heads to China for race 2 of the 2026 season. The weekend revealing a new generation of fans supporting the race series, some taking their devotion to pitch-perfect levels.
Despite Oscar putting his wheels into the wall before kick-off, Formula One was the flavour many sporting fans were seeking this weekend past. And those tracksides seem to be getting younger.
There is no doubt that if you put side by side the crowds from 10 years ago, the demographic is far younger and also skewing far more female.
While some fans, mate...
I know, it's a problem, isn't it?
Zach building his dream around the Ferrari V12 motor found on eBay, which has seen a doubling of interest over the last 6 months in all things F1.
It can be something nostalgic, or it can be something from, the recent lines that have been released.
Some opting for the catch and kill approach to memorabilia, ripping the signage from the Albert Park track moments after the last car would pit. Meanwhile, back at Zach's Batcave. You could dawdle down the road and pick up a litre of milk.
Maybe a 600ml bottle of water.
You've got to squeeze it in somewhere, haven't you?
There's literally no storage.
Expensive bottle of water that, when you factor in the 5 minutes of V12 warm-up that will chew through 20 litres of oil. Mike Dalton, 9 News.
The AI wave is now a tsunami, wiping out thousands of jobs. Coming up in the news, the roles most at risk and how to future-proof your career. Also, millions of Australians don't even know they have it. The new warning on kidney disease. The Bondi first responders who found love in the most unlikely of places. Those stories after sport with James, and Zach Lomax is officially off to rugby union.
Good evening to you, Pete. Yes, after his bid to play for the Storm was blocked, it was his only real option tonight. Lomax now set to play for Super Rugby side the Western Force, and he's had a parting shot at the NRL on his way out. Rooster Angus Crichton opens up on his darkest time and how his wife got him through it. Last, the Matildas leave Sydney facing a hard road home to Asian Cup glory.
And good news if you're craving some sunshine. Temperatures will heat up into the low 30s this week. I'll have the latest forecast for you shortly.
Zach Lomax's next game of football will be for the Western Force after signing a 2-year deal with Rugby Union today. He's expressed a desire to play for the Wallabies and took a parting shot at the NRL, describing the 15-man code as truly international.
He chased the rugby riches of R360, and after 4 months of false hope and legal fights, Zach Lomax is Perth-bound with a Wallaby dream in his heart. Future Wallaby Angus Crichton was told about the switch this morning.
Zach Lomax has just signed with the rugby as well, so yeah, 2 years. So.
Nice. Yeah, good on him. I think I felt for him with what he went through. I think at the same time he put himself in that position, so I'm not going to say I felt sorry for him, but as a person, you do just have care for people.
Lomax played Origin with Crichton and Connor Watson.
Zach is a freak, so I think he'll be great at the game of rugby, and I'm just glad to see that he's sort of got his future worked out.
Lomax issued a statement today and took a crack at the game he's leaving. He said the dream of one day representing the Wallabies on a truly international stage and potentially competing in a Rugby World Cup is a powerful motivation. A week ago, Lomax was hoping to play for the Storm. Curiously, the talks with the Western Force have been quite detailed.
He's been really engaged with the club and the coaches and the high performance team about what's expected of him from all aspects of his game and what's expected from him as a person. So it's been really exciting.
The Lomax news overshadowed Crichton's milestone game. He's reached 200 matches in the NRL. It's even more remarkable considering he ended up in a French psych ward at the end of 2023. Crichton credits his family and more specifically his wife Chloe for his incredible comeback.
My wife, she's an absolute star, and she pulled me out of the embers, and I owe a lot to her for sure.
Actually, like she really helped you through a very dark time.
Yeah, definitely. I think she owed me nothing when I met her, and then I sort of fell into that place, and she was there every step of the way, and I think that's fast-tracked the respect and appreciation I have for her. I guess it's hard to find real people in this world.
Danny Weidler, 9 News.
The Giants stunned the AFL in opening round, beating Hawthorn without a host of their biggest names. The squad now confident they can do it again on Saturday against the Western Bulldogs, drawing motivation from their current tag as underdogs.
I think I definitely am, and I think everyone else is as well. We'll gain full confidence coming out of that game that we are capable with not a full list, and it also gives us great confidence moving forward that when those players do come back, we'll be pretty hard to beat, I would say.
Gothard says he's still coming to terms with a dream AFL debut, kicking the match-sealing goal and being swamped by his teammates. The Matildas say they believe more than ever that they can win the Asian Cup, despite a 3-3 draw with South Korea that's forced them to take the long road to the final. The team flying back to Western Australia today after missing out on the chance to set up camp here in Sydney.
It's a trip the Matildas would rather not have taken. Packed up and on a plane to Perth after finishing second in their group.
Yeah, we're obviously disappointed. Obviously not the route we wanted to go down, but that's football, that's tournament football.
The Matildas needed to beat South Korea in front of 60,000 Sydney fans to avoid travelling again in the tournament.
And it's a dream start for Korean Republic.
Early nerves for the Matildas were soon settled.
It's her first time finish, and she does so with aplomb.
2-1 lead at half-time, their mission on track. until South Korea struck twice in 3 minutes.
She'll take a strike and finish beautifully.
Time wasting, just as frustrating. Australia did equalise on full time, but it was too late to top the group.
You're always going to have these ups and downs in tournaments. We at least showed the character to finish the game off and still get a result. We needed more goals, we didn't get them, and we're going another route. Simple as that.
That route will see them face either China or North Korea on Friday. Departing Sydney deflated but determined.
The thing about this group, we've been in this position before. We face adversity, we face these hard games. It's a do or die game for us, so yeah.
Sam Jordan, 9 News.
India has won the T20 World Cup in a one-sided final against New Zealand after the tournament host posted an impressive 5 for 255 from their 20 overs. Jasprit Bumrah then stepping up with the ball, taking 4 for 15. In the end, the Kiwis were bowled out for just 159, 97 runs short of the target. India becoming the first nation to win the title for a third time. Australia is on the board at the Winter Paralympics. Ben Tudhope taking silver in the snowboard cross in Cortina. The 26-year-old overcoming a dislocated shoulder on his way to the final, improving on the bronze medal he won in Beijing.
Never has silver tasted so sweet.
A collision. Tudhope should be in second. He is.
Ben Tudhope was already proud as punch heading into his 4th Winter Paralympic Games, and with his family and friends alongside him. This silver medal means the world.
I saw my mum and I got emotional. I shed a tear, and I didn't think I was going to cry getting a medal, but yeah, to see them here is truly special.
It's an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
I tell you, it is just amazing. So proud of him, so happy.
It's been a whirlwind week for the 26-year-old who was born with cerebral palsy. Earlier, he was named flag bearer alongside Georgia Ganav.
So they have everyone here have the loudest support crew out of any country, even the Italians.
His second place in the final of the snowboard cross SBLL2, all the more impressive considering in the quarterfinals he dislocated his shoulder.
Congratulations to Ben, earning the silver medal for Australia.
Tudhope debuted at the Winter Paralympic Games in Sochi in 2014, aged just 14. He won bronze at Beijing in 2022 and now has won better in Italy.
There was a small expectation of medaling here, and so, yeah, to get that dream done and dream come true is absolutely amazing.
And with the banked slalom event to come, Ben may need some extra carry-on allowance for the way home. Trent Neese, 9 News.
Good on you, Ben. Great story over there in Italy. Pete, 100% footy's back tonight. I'll see you later on right here on 9.
Remember how cold it was there?
Oh, yeah, I'm not missing it.
-14 one day. Thank you, James. In the news ahead, AI is coming for Australian jobs. Next, the industry's at risk and what you can do. $90 billion down, the stocks that slumped the most. And the tourist tax coming to a popular landmark. Returning to finance, and all sectors of the Australian share market, except energy, spent the day deep in the red. Here's our finance editor, Chris Kohler.
Investors will be picking through the rubble tonight following one of the worst sessions we've had in a year. BHP plunged 5% and is now down almost 15% in 5 days. NAB, Westpac, ANZ and Macquarie all fell more than 2%, and Qantas lost another 4.5% today. Looking at Asian markets, we can see Australia actually did better than others. South Korea and Japan both saw deeper falls than we did today. The Australian dollar was mixed, with next week's Reserve Bank decision coming into view. Some economists, including those at NAB, today reiterated their call that there won't be another hike next Tuesday, but that a rise in May does look likely.
Thank you, Chris. A wave of AI job losses is turning into a tsunami as thousands of roles are wiped out. A new survey reveals how cynical many workers are about their future careers. But recruitment experts say businesses can turn this around.
For 17 years, Jackie Duncan has made a career from her voice.
I even waded to the letterbox.
But the actor and voiceover artist is now among many creatives whose work is being replaced by artificial intelligence.
I have definitely seen a dramatic
downshift in the amount of work that I'm getting.
A new survey from talent agency Randstad has found 1 in 3 Australians believe their job will disappear in the next 5 years because of AI.
AI will certainly change roles and definitely the skills needed to perform in roles.
Still, job losses are ramping up. Block, the company behind Afterpay, announcing cuts to 40% of its global workforce, including in Australia. Envato, a Melbourne-based creative marketplace, slashing 200 jobs. WiseTech Global slashing nearly a third of its workforce. Investment giant Morgan Stanley looking to shed around 2,500 positions, and another 200 roles are set to go at Telstra. Randstad's report shows millennials, those aged between 30 and 45, are most worried about their jobs disappearing. And over half of those surveyed had not received training on AI tools that will reshape their jobs.
Really highlights a potential AI skills cliff where at the pace at which AI is being adopted into workplaces, making sure that workers have the right support to really develop the skills.
Occupations that are really at risk are mainly in the clerical areas, some professional occupations, particularly around computer coding, some types of legal work, accountancy work.
Employment marketplace Seek says AI skills in job ads have increased 190% in the past 5 years. The advice for workers: make the most of opportunities to upskill with AI.
Really lean into that training.
AI will also drive cost savings, and that will create opportunities in other places.
But for many creatives, AI is a battle of morals, leaving an uncertain future.
Being able to create is a uniquely human experience, so I would love to be able to keep doing that.
Hayley Francis, 9 News.
An alarming number of Australians don't know they have chronic kidney disease. Research suggests only 200,000 of the estimated 2.7 million sufferers have been diagnosed, sparking calls for more to get tested.
Those people that should be getting tested are those that are at risk. People with diabetes, with hypertension, with heart disease, people who have kidney disease in their families, smokers and vapors.
The push comes ahead of World Kidney Day this Thursday. Tourists heading to the 12 Apostles will soon need to pay a fee. Visitors will be charged to enter the new $126 million 12 Apostles Visitor Experience Centre, which is due to open this year. The exact cost yet to be decided. 2 first responders from the deadly Bondi attack are engaged after meeting as they rush to help the victims. Despite training to become surf lifesavers together, James McIntosh and Alexandra Edmondson only connected in the aftermath of the attack. The couple is planning to tie the knot at the end of this year. Congratulations. Coming up, Belinda with our weather.
Thank you, Pete. A possible shower this evening. The rain clouds clearing later tonight. The humidity sitting at around 90% right now, making it feel 1 or 2 degrees warmer than what the mercury suggests. Some warm and sunny weather is on the horizon. I'll have the details for you after the break. Hello again, another cloudy day across Sydney and those southeasterlies sticking around, keeping temperatures in our west about 2 to 3 degrees cooler than the March average. Most suburbs stopping at 24 today, slightly warmer in the city, climbing to 25, and a few little showers throughout the day, only 1 millimetre for the city, 4 for Canterbury and 7 for Terry Hills. Sydney escaping that heavier rain, but other parts of the coast getting a drenching from Gosford right up to Tweed Heads. Nobby's Beach in Newcastle recording the highest rainfall today with 57 millimetres since midnight. But conditions easing tomorrow as a high pressure ridge builds and that coastal trough off New South Wales weakens. Southeast Queensland also getting some relief as the low pressure trough, which has brought torrential rain to that region, moves further out into the Tasman. Most of the Sunshine State still on flood watch, just a shower or 2 for Brisbane tomorrow, but less than 1 millimetre forecast. Canberra heating up to 29 under mostly sunny skies. Melbourne also heading for 29 with cloud clearing. Hot and sunny in Adelaide and a cool change for Perth, partly cloudy and 25. Back home in New South Wales, warming up to a hot autumn day for inland parts, with top temperatures up to 7 degrees hotter than usual for this time of year. Griffith hitting 35, Narrabri and Burke also reaching the mid-30s. As for any rainfall, a fine day for most, apart from some isolated showers in the central east, scattered showers along the north coast, and maybe some isolated thunderstorms about the mid-north coast. Sydney also in for a warmer day than today, with the sunshine returning. Tops around 25 to 28 degrees with light winds, and you should be able to leave your brolly at home tomorrow. Just a medium chance of a shower or two, most likely in the morning and early afternoon, and less than a few millimetres forecast. On to the rest of the week, and it'll feel like summer again on Wednesday. Blue skies and 30 degrees in the city. A sunny morning on Thursday, but then we could get a shower or two later in the day as the next southerly change sweeps in, bringing a cooler day on Friday, 24 with cloudy skies and the chance of showers. The Bureau now expecting those showers to clear in time for the weekend. Our west also getting a boost of sunshine on Wednesday, hitting up to 32, staying in the low 30s on Thursday with a shower or two. A huge drop in temperatures on Friday, down to 22, but then warming up again for the weekend, reaching the 30s on Sunday, so you can start packing your beach bag, Pete.
Belinda, thank you. Ali is next with the current affair. That is 9 News for this Monday. I'm Peter Overton. I hope you have a good evening. From all of us